Welcome to CSQ Analytics Sendirian Berhad. I will be your trainer for ISO 9001 Quality Management System Requirements. So, ISO 9001 is about quality. What is quality? Wow! This is what I want! Yes, I'm very satisfied with the services provided. Okay, the product received fulfill my specification. Well, it does solve my problems. The ISO definition on quality, which is degree to which a set of inherent characteristics of an object fulfill the requirements. So, what is the requirements? Your needs, your expectations, your specification, what you want. And therefore, ISO 9001 Quality Management System is a set of interrelated or interacting elements of an organization to establish the policy and objective and processes to achieve those objectives towards the quality. There are 7 management principles in ISO 9001 Quality Management System. First, customer focus. Second, leadership. Third, engagement of people. Fourth, process approach. Fifth, improvement. Sixth, evidence-based decision making. And last, relationship management. Principle 1. Customer focus. The organization depends on their customer, and therefore we should understand current and future customer needs. We need to meet the customer requirements and strive to exceed the customer expectations. What is your customer requirements? What they want? How to meet your customer requirements? How to enhance their satisfactions on your products and services? And what is your value added to sustain the customer and how to do so? Second principle, leadership. Leaders establish the unity of purpose and direction of the organization. The leader should create and maintain the environments in working which the people can fully involve in achieve the organization objective. Remember, a successful leader is a great influencer. Influence and enlighten the team, motivate the team, and provide consultation. The third principle, engagement of people. What is the meaning of team? Together, everyone achieve more. We cannot spell success without you. People at all levels are the essence of an organization, and their full involvement enable their ability to be used for the organization's benefits and towards the objective achievement. Principle 4. Process approach. We need to understand your own process. Besides your own process, what else other processes are interrelated with your processes? How we are going to work together with your own process and others' processes together to achieve the intended result. Every process it's involved inputs and outputs. What is the sources of your inputs? Example, in the purchasing processes, when you are going to buy the things, the user are the direct person who requests to buy the things. Okay? At the same time, the user required the approval from the head of department. When the user obtained the approval, the user needs to submit the approval to the purchaser. With the approved document, then only the purchaser is authorized to issue the purchase order to the supplier, okay, to your external provider, to your service provider. These inputs not just only involve your own personnel, but involve the person from purchasing, involve your external provider. In this process, the input required, including the purchase order, the purchase requisitions, quotation from your supplier, quotation from the service provider, then only can generate the purchase order. The outputs of this process included the purchase order to the external provider, the work order from the external provider, and of course, the products of all the services which deliver to you. Who are the receiver of the outputs? That will be your external provider, your supplier, your service provider, your calibration personnel, and whoever the interested party of your process. This means that throughout the whole process, we are not just only managing our own process, but at the same time, we are interacting with other processes and other interested parties. The process approach adopts PDCA cycle. So, what is PDCA? No, please don't change anything. Is that PDCA means please don't change anything? Are you sure this is PDCA? In fact, PDCA means plan, do, check, act. Every process definitely it will involve PDCA cycle. Before we executing the process, before we executing the task, we need to plan. When we are going to execute the task, what is the input we require to understand the task on what we are going to execute? What is customer requirements? What is the specification? This is all within the planning process. For example, when you want to buy something for your production, what do you need to plan? Definitely, I need to get the quotation from my supplier, from my provider. I need to plan how much the quantity I need. I need to know what is the specifications of the things I want to buy. And of course, who will be the best external provider to supply to me? Based on all the informations required, I analyze, I review, then I make the decision. I select the external provider that I want. I confirm the specifications of the product, of the material that I want. With the adequacy of the planning, then only we can execute, we can do. I buy the material that I want. I engage the provider that I want. I engage the services that I want. This is do. When we do it, we involve the people, we involve the equipment, whatever the resources that required to execute, to do the task. After I successfully execute the do, I wait for the goods arrival. I wait for the service arrival. When I receive the items, when I receive the services, definitely I need to check. I need to inspect whether this product, whether these items, this material is what I want. If this is what I want, case closed. Nothing else I need to do, but I need to review back. Anything else I need to improve throughout this process? Is that the delivery time taking too long? How am I going to improve so that I can receive the item earlier? Do I need to set a minimum quantity level so that I can make the order, I can place the order in advance, in earlier, so that I can receive it faster? Or if during the inspection I found out the product, the material is not what I want, the size is not fulfilling what I want, so what is my action? I need to reject it. I need to return it. I need to ask the provider to rework it. This is the actions, and this is the immediate action. However, we are not just only think about immediate actions. We have to go further. That's why we need to think about the root cause. Why this is happening? Why the provider provide to me something which is not fulfilling my spec? Oh yeah, I do not mention it clearly, the specification in the job order, in the purchase order. That's why the external provider made assumption. So, how to prevent the recurrence? Therefore, in my next purchase, I need to make sure every specifications, every details is clearly written and communicate to the provider to prevent the recurrence of the mistake. And this is called corrective action. Principle 5. Improvement. Continual improvement should be a permanent objective of the organization. We need to confirm the suitability, the adequacy, and effectiveness of the management system and our processes. We need to always review our processes, our management system, and what we had done. Which area or which part required further improvement? How to improve on this? What is your action plan? And do remember, we need to monitor and review the effectiveness of the action taken. Principle 6. Evidence-based decision making. Yes, we need data, we need evidence, we need to analyze the information and data. Effective decisions are based on the analysis of data and documented information. Without data, without evidence, how reliable your decision will be? How confident you are to execute the decision? For example, if your equipment are aging, you want to request your management, your boss, to buy a new equipment, and the equipment is so expensive. How are you going to convince your boss to buy a new equipment? You cannot just base on verbally and tell your boss that, "Boss, I want to buy." Why? Because aging. What is the proof? Yes, boss, based on the record, this equipment being malfunctioned for 10 times within a month, and we have been spent more than 5,000 to service this equipment. If we keep using this equipment, the expenses of servicing will be keep increasing. And from the information I collected, we need to buy the equipment 5,000, and because this equipment is new, I am expecting the servicing expenses will be just only 1,000 within a year throughout this 5 years period. That's why it's workable to buy a new equipment. And last principle, relationship management. We are not just having relationship within our organization, but we are having relationship with external party as well. Our contractor, our supplier, our service provider, and more. An organization and its provider are interdependent, and a mutually beneficial relationship enhances the ability of both to create value. We are relying on each other, win-win relationship. With the support from external provider, with their compliance, then we are able to provide quality products and quality services. That's all for this module. See you in the next module. Stay tuned.